Okay, so today we're going to start with 5.8, language. The objective of the day is students will be able to synthesize how biological, cognitive, and cultural factors converge to facilitate the acquisition, development, and use of language. So acquisition means to acquire. So it's essentially how do we, like at the beginning, learn language or acquire the ability to speak. So first we have to discuss a little bit about the basics of language. First is phoneme, the smallest distinct sound unit. So think things like vowel sounds or the sounds of your letters. The second is morpheme, the smallest unit of meaning. So think about things like ed or ing. In grammar, we have semantics, the rules for meaning. So essentially, for example, adding ed to the end. Means that it happened in the past. And then syntax is the rules for word order. Toddlers really tend to get this wrong, or people learning a language for the first time may say everything correctly, but say the words out of order. Language development, when do we learn language? We learn language starting at about 4 months, where you start to hear babbling that resemble speech sounds. So they're not words per se, but they'll start to say vowels or the vowel-like sounds or consonant-like sounds. We have a video of Jack at like 6 months saying the word hi. Now, did he actually say the word hi? No, he was making these speech sounds that sound like the word hi. 10 months, they babble, resembling household language. 12 months, 1 year, they start using one word to describe things. 24 months, they start to use 2 words and what we call telegraphic speech. Telegraphic speech is when they use words, typically without any sorts of description. So something like want juice. It's telegraphic speech, I'll circle that. Okay, and then at 24 months, the language develops rapidly into complete sentences and communication becomes a little bit better. So there's 2 people that we are gonna focus on, and this is gonna be based off of your assignment. And the first one is B.F. Skinner. B.F. Skinner focused on language using operant learning. So remember, this is gonna be learning based on rewards and punishments. So some of the learning principles that B.F. Skinner focused on, and what he said is that language is learned. And the learning principles that he focused on, association, imitation, and reinforcement. So association, the child would learn to associate 2 items together. You say milk and give them a glass of milk. That's association. Imitation, they hear what you say and repeat it. This is how kids learn to curse. And finally, reinforcement. This is when they say a word and you reinforce. They say mama, mom gets excited. Chomsky is the second one to focus on language, but Chomsky had a different point of view. He believed that there was some sort of inborn, so this is different than Skinner. Because Skinner said that we learn it, where Chomsky says there's something innate in us to learn language, or that we are born with the ability to some sort of universal grammar. And so what Chomsky said was that we have a language acquisition device. So this is the ability to learn language automatically. And he says that we all have this universal grammar, which makes a lot of sense because no matter what language you speak, acquisition all starts the same. Meaning that we all start with mimicking the sounds of the vowels and letters that we hear being spoken to us. And that's the same across no matter what language it is. All kids kind of learn language in that same format. And finally, thinking in language. Language determinisms is determined by Benjamin Wolf. He said languages can determine the way that we think. So the way that we speak can influence the way we think, which makes a kind of a lot of sense if you think about like positive language allows us to think more positively, kind of this idea of fake it till you make it. We also see a big cultural aspect here, or cultural influences, because of the way that some cultures speak. Some cultures tend to be more positive than other cultures. Also more communicative. Whoops, sorry. There we go. And so what we find that just speaking in general can really influence the way that people think. And that is it for today.